All right, here we go. Happy Sunday, everybody. Well, happy for everybody but Jeremy, maybe, but we are we are here with our usual Sunday fun, and we are Global Strangeness, three strangers brought together with the love of everything creepy, crazy, and things that go bump in the night or bump in your shower when you're
or bump on the toilet seat.
Bump, yeah, wherever you bump, we're all about bumps, scariness. Sorry, Jeremy, we're gonna like bug you all through this whole thing. You know that, right?
Hey, I didn't hit the toilet. That's Scott. So I got better aim than he does.
Yeah, sure you didn't.
I fell the opposite way of the toilet. I was facing the toilet. I just went full backwards.
Oh man, so it got all over the place.
No, because I don't know. I doubt it. But
yeah, that's a whole different set of scary stories. So, anyways, this week we're diving into Jeremy's pick, and we're diving into African cryptids. So, yeah, interesting stuff. I don't know any of these. I know, Jeremy, you know lots about these ones. What about you, Scott? Are most of them new to you, or?
Yeah, most of them were. I saw there was a vampire and there was a mermaid that I didn't pick because I thought you'd pick it. And then there were like 3 different Bigfoots that I thought Jeremy would pick. But I mean, you could.
I think you know what category I was picking before I picked Bigfoot.
Well, I mean, your Macaulay and Mbembe, you didn't pick that either, did you?
We covered. I tried not to pick things we covered before. It's also why I didn't pick mermaids.
I know that's your biggest one, right? Macaulay and Mbembe. So, like, most of your cryptids come out of Africa, then.
I would have picked the vampire even if we have talked about them because I love them, but I didn't see him, so. I love vampires.
We know, Deborah. We know.
Yeah.
I got 3. They seem pretty cool. I actually tried to pick one of yours. I just couldn't find enough stuff on it. It seems pretty cool, so I can't wait to hear what you're talking about.
Yeah, a couple of mine are pretty like slim on the stuff too. So I don't know. Maybe Jeremy, you'll know stuff to add, anyways. But
I mean, I am no expert on African cryptids. I will say that first and foremost. I know of a lot of them, but I'm not an expert on any of them as much as I could be, not living in the continent.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, it's a learning experience for all of us. So, the first one I picked was Mambolombo. Am I saying that right? Anyways, I'm gonna be saying things all kinds of crazy wrong.
You mean Macaulay and Mbembe's cousin?
Is that what it is? Yeah, Mambolombo.
No, just the name sounds familiar.
I picked it because its nickname is the brain sucker. So I thought that was cool. Anyways, and it's terrorized inhabitants along the Mizint Lava River. I know I'm saying that wrong. In Lesotho and South Africa. And so it drags its victims down to the bottom and drowns them. And it's quite creepy. Witnesses describe it being 6 to 7 feet in length, although I've kind of read some saying it's up to like 67, like long, like, really big, but most common is 6 to 7 feet in length with short legs and a long tail, kind of like a dragon or something. I don't know. The torso looks like a crocodile and the head has horse-like features. Got a really weird, I don't know, Scott, if you want to pull that picture up, there's a picture of it. It's the one with all the, and
this
the picture
is the
right
one,
after.
right? And then there's another
That's
one.
it.
Looks like a Bond villain.
Right?
Pull the second one
I think
up.
he's cute.
So that looks like a good eating fish right there.
I mean,
good fighting fish.
Well, it looks like it might take a bite out of you, though. I don't know. This one's supposedly pretty scary.
Alligator gar.
So, and then some people say it's bioluminescent, meaning that it emits some, lights like jellyfish do. And some people say it has shining green eyes. So it'd be really cool to like run up against in the dark if you're night fishing, right?
Which part of Africa was this?
It is the
South Africa. It says right in the
South
picture.
Africa. Mizint Lava River. Oh yeah, the river right there, however you say that.
Mizint Lava.
Yeah. I haven't seen anybody catch one yet.
Well, the most recent reported sighting was in April of 1997 near the village of Lubakaleko, on that river in South Africa. So anyways, it is known as the brain sucker. The quasi-reptilian monstrosity terrorized the villages around the river in South Africa, Minslava River. And so what it does, it grabs its victims and it drags them into the murky depths where it devours their faces in order to consume their brains. Like,
Well,
that
I
sounds
already,
good.
I already started the hole for tonight, so I can just go ahead and do that.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Way to make the work easy. He appreciates that.
I think we're gonna need steel leader if we're trying to prove this cryptids exist.
Right? Like, that's a pike, like, that's got some pike teeth, but, you know,
Yeah.
times 10, right? So
we might-
anyways, oh, go
That'd
ahead.
be fun. That'd be fun.
So, like I said, some witnesses say that it's got that it's bioluminescent, and they also claim it's got the two gleaming green eyes. And according to native legend, I thought this was cool. It's kind of vampire-ish. It possesses the power to mesmerize anyone who's unfortunate enough to make eye contact with them. So that's kind of cool. Just like the vampire, you don't look deep into their eyes, or you fall in love and you can't move, and then you're in trouble. So anyways, thought by lots of the area natives to be the physical manifestation of the notorious predator known as, and I don't know how to say this, but it's Xosa, tribal mythology.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
a hard one.
Uza? I don't know. Anyways, legends of this thing, it goes back centuries and centuries, and they claim that any warrior brave enough, or foolish enough for that matter, to go toe-to-toe with one of these monstrous beasts and survive would be the recipient of tremendous amount of wealth, not to mention their fair share of prestige. So actually, if you like run across one and you're not too scared and you take it on and you kill it, it's supposed to bring immense fortune and good luck to you. So I thought that was really kind of cool.
Somebody have a TV on, or am I tripping?
Oh, might be my kid's TV.
So anyways, the thing about
They're
this
loud.
this monster, it's been really, well documented. It's been really closely tracked by public officials in the area, which is cool. Like, they take it kind of serious. Which, I mean, it sounds blood-sucking monster that brings, anyways, they think it's serious. So in fact, on April 29th, 1997, the Router Wire Service reported that an Eastern Cape legislative meeting held in Bisho, South Africa, the agriculture minister, one Ezra Sigwella, told an astonished governing body that the half-fish, half-horse monster had devoured at least 7 victims in his region. So, like, that's had a, that's kind of crazy. The agricultural minister is like reporting this.
Well, this thing's like horse face, right? Like, it's not
Yes.
an actual like it could be a fish, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's been horse face fish since the beginning of time, or horse face like aquatic creatures, supposedly.
Well, and then like even when you buy those pet store tetras, like they do glow, but it's because of the
Right.
food they eat, right? So like maybe it has
And
the big sharp-
jellyfish.
yeah.
Jellyfish glow. So I mean, things. Yeah, I mean, it could just be a type of fish that looks like a monster, and it's got this whole legend around it.
Yeah, like people add on the additional stuff.
So this agriculture minister, this Sigwella, he pledged that he would solicit the help of the National Agriculture Ministry in the hopes that they'd organize a mission of armed nature conservation officers in order to hunt and kill the beast, to end the reign of terror. Like, so he was trying to get government help to hunt these. So anyways, this journalist Kolstad, he also claimed that he had received numerous reports that suspicious about this vicious creature thing. And so according to him, 9 people had been killed since January of 1997. And the most recent victim was a young schoolgirl who had been buried, just a month before he was reporting. And there was also a young boy who told the story. He was with his dad, so he was a different 6-year-old, but he was with his dad, and his dad they encountered this mystery monster, and and apparently it killed and ate his dad. This 6-year-old was an eyewitness. So anyways, as in most cases with, this kind of stuff, though, the local state police, they think the monster's purported victims were actually only just, drowning casualties, resulting from the swelling of the river during heavy rains. And it says Captain G. Mizuko of the Mounted Aleph Police. He's a firm skeptic, and he thinks that the crabs are actually what is disfiguring injuries on the victims' corpses, right? Because their faces are eaten away and the brains are eaten. But he says that's just a bunch of crabs.
Could be. I think we need to get Jeremy Wade, River Monster,
Right?
on this one. Or me, if he's too old, like somebody wants to give me a TV show, I'm down like James Brown.
Well, you got all the fishing gear and whatever. Get over there. Go find
Yeah,
this
I'll
thing
just
for
buy
us.
the next flight to South Africa. I do like the Antword, so.
I'm kind of torn because I feel like it could be some sort of a gross looking fish, because there's some crazy looking fish, like for real, that we know about.
Oh
right?
yeah.
It could just be a really big one. I don't think it needs to be just a drowning and then the crabs. I think there could be a thing that's killing people, or maiming.
That's what I kind of liked about my African cryptids too, is like I think they could, like, I think it's more believable for some of these African cryptids than like some of the more out there shit we get in America.
What are you talking about? These are all believable. Everything we talk about is
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, but really, I could really see this actually being some big old nasty fish that is in the river. All I could say is I probably wouldn't swim there. So, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you look at an alligator gar or a sturgeon, for that matter.
Right? Look how big they are.
Some of the water they're in too. It's like shallow ass water.
Yeah.
All sorts of like pike species around the world that have big ass fucking like teeth, vampire fish, and crazy.
But this thing
fish out there.
supposedly has legs too, right? So I mean, I don't know. It's like kind of a cross between a.
But they have those mud fish in like North Carolina. So like maybe that's just mistaken of these things walking on their fins.
Oh, maybe that makes sense too, right?
God knows. I mean, I think it's probably possible that thing's alive.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think this is probably an actual, something you could actually, get eaten by for real.
I mean, I'm ignorant too. Like I don't know how much of Africa is actually explored, but it's as big as from Deborah down to like the bottom of South America. So there's a lot of fucking land.
So yeah, and probably a lot of animals that haven't been fully identified.
Oh, yeah, there's a whole on the fandom website. There's a whole page of undiscovered megafauna in Africa. So
yeah, 100%. So,
and I know like South Africa is more urbanized, but like how far out around it, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah. Who knows? And so anyways, that's it for that guy. And then the next one I did, Jeremy, you might like this, you probably know about this, but the Gogway. So the Gogway is also, have you heard of it?
How'd you pronounce that?
A Gogway?
Okay,
How do you
I
pronounce
got it
it?
I think I know of it.
Well, it says it's also known as the
Oh yeah.
Columba. I knew. Yes, this guy. He's so cute,
yeah.
isn't he?
Isn't it famous for having beautiful tits?
What? I didn't see that.
No, there's some cryptid. There's some version of Sasquatch where that's like one of the features they say always.
I mean, he does kind of have some. Not
if you like the Harrys.
He was on our.
I think he was on our cryptid bracket, and I think that came up.
Yeah, he could use a shirt actually. Now that you mentioned that. Anyways, I just
what did Kramer and George's
dad
the man brawl or the man
bro? The bro.
There we go. That's what he needs.
That's hilarious. Anyways, I thought he was kind of cute. I like his eyes. That's a statue. I can't remember where they said it was, but he's also known as the Colomba. It's a human-like creature spotted in the jungles and forests of the Congo, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, and Zambia. So the first sighting was in 1900 by British Captain William Hitchens, but it wasn't actually reported until the December issue of Discovery magazine in 1937. British officer Cuthbert Bourguignon stated he saw a similar creature in 1927. The last sighting of this is in the late 50s. And he's usually described as being anywhere from 2 to 5 feet tall. And it has disappropriate portion, at least, long arms. So yeah, I guess his arms are pretty much spanning almost his whole body. And he's got rust-colored hair all over his body. And the skin underneath the hair, you can see through the hair there, and it's an orange or coppery hue. So it's kind of like a little orange thing. And the Gagwe's feet are only about 5 inches long. Good grief, that's pretty small little feet. Anyways, the animal is quite similar to modern chimpanzee, but it has a more rounded forehead and sharper and smaller teeth and different hair and skin color. So cryptozoologists hypothesize that the Gagwe is just a species of an Australopithecine, which is the very early form of humans living 2.5 million years ago. I apologize, I am butchering everything here, the way I'm pronouncing it, so have your laughs, but anyway. So I did find a firsthand an encounter of that. So this is Captain Bourgeois and William Hykins. So we were sufficiently near, so this is them talking, this is their first-hand encounter. We were sufficiently near to land to see objects clearly with a glass of 12 magnifications. And there was a sloping beach with light bush above, upon which several dozen baboons were hunting and picking up shellfish and crabs, and to judge by their movements. And then 2 pure white baboons were amongst them. These are very rare, but I had heard of them previously. And as we watched, 2 little brown men walked together out of the bush and down among the baboons. And they were certainly not any known monkey. And they must have been akin, or they would have disturbed the baboons. So the baboons were not upset by these little things at all. And then he goes on to say they were too far away to see in detail, but these small human-like animals were probably between 4 and 5 feet tall, quite upright and graceful in figure. At the time I was thrilled, as they were quite evidently no beast of which I had ever heard or read. Later, a friend and a big game hunter told me he was in Portuguese East Africa, and his wife and 3 other hunters saw a mother, father, and child of apparently similar animal species walk across the further side of a bush clearing. And the natives loudly forbade him to shoot it. So that is your first-hand description.
God.
What do you think? Is it just another monkey species, chimpanzee? Is it a Bigfoot? What do you think it is?
I think, well, it's commonly known as the triple B, the beautifully breasted Bigfoot.
In
I like
the
that.
Bigfoot community, huh?
That's hilarious.
Bigfoot erotica is a thing, Scott.
Oh God, here we go. Why did I pick that one?
Hey, guess what we're doing next week?
Yeah, right.
Oh, damn.
Scott's gonna read us the first 3 chapters of his Bigfoot erotica book he's writing.
That's awesome. Have you done a lot of field research for that one, Scott?
Oh, yeah. I'm out there all the time looking for new Bigfoots to write erotica about.
Funny. And then the last guy, I didn't get a whole lot of information on this, but maybe you guys know a bit more. It's the Dinganuck or Dijanak. I don't know. Dingoneek.
Okay,
There's
so
a-
I got this one coming up. The last time your picture wasn't coming up on the main screen, so I'm gonna try something a little new if it seemed like I was like screwing around with shit. So I'm gonna share your Dinganook now.
Yeah. So this is a pretty scary looking thing.
Let's
Looks like a monster from Mystery Science 30 or 3000.
right? Like it's got like a cat face and like saber tooth kind of things and horns. I don't know. I thought it looked pretty cool. So, anyways,
Okay,
the first
your picture's coming up. We're good.
okay, so the first reported sighting of a dingoneck. You say that dingo neck? You think dingo neck was by explorer Alfred Jordan in 1907 on the river Magori in Kenya. So Jordan described it as a 14 feet long with a head marked and shaped like a leopard, but as big as a lioness. So great big head. And the creature had 2 long tusks coming down from its upper jaw like a walrus and had scales like an armadillo. The dingo neck is said to be as broad as a hippopotamus and have claws like a giant lizard. So it's like everything. This thing's inbred with every type of animal. So it's considered to be semi-aquatic and lives near creeks and lakes and rivers, but it can come up on land or whatever. So big game hunter Edgar Bronson also saw the creature and described it as almost exactly the same way as Jordan did, and he called it a jungle walrus. And they are said to be extremely territorial and they'll kill hippos, which is crazy because hippos, they're pretty mean.
Yeah.
And crocodiles and fishermen if they get too close.
Well, and
Have you
Africa
guys-
has the biggest fucking crocodiles too. They got those 20-foot salt
Right?
crocs in the Nile.
Well, apparently this guy can kill all of it. So I don't know. Have you heard of this one, Jeremy?
Can't say I have really. I mean, I may have heard of it in passing, but it's definitely not something that I know about on the regular.
Yeah, like it's like a cut and paste of a whole bunch of different animals.
Which just means that the person who saw it was most likely drunk, but you know.
Could be. And like I said, I didn't find a whole lot of, first-hand accounts or whatever, that much information about it. But I thought it looked cool, so I threw them in there. So unlike the other ones, I don't know that I believe that this one, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I
Other
know,
ones, I'm
with
like,
you
yeah,
there.
I can see them. I can see that, they're not discovered yet. This one, I think you're right. Probably somebody had too much whiskey.
Yeah,
Game-
maybe they were eating some questionable plants in the old jungle
Right?
over
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
Look at
something's going on.
look at some questionable toads.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's it for me, you guys. On to you.
Well, me or you, Scat.
I don't care.
Love the passion. Love it. Well, my head's not bleeding, so let's do this.
Priorities, you know. But I brought 4 African cryptids to the table, even though the first one is a cryptid, kind of, but it's kind of not a cryptid. I think it's just undiscovered. But I'll tell the story first, and you can play the video for the first one, Scott, if you want to get it loaded up. But
Yeah. Well, it's loaded. I got everything ready.
all right,
Did my job.
good. Well, in 1959, the year my parents were born, Remy Van Leerd served as a colonel in the Belgian Air Force at the Kamina Air Base in Belgian-occupied Congo. In the Katanga region of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, returning from mission by helicopter, he reported having seen an enormous snake as he flew over the forest. He described the snake as being close to 50 feet in length with a 2-foot wide by 3-foot long triangular head, which, if his estimations were accurate, would earn the creature a place among the largest snakes that ever existed. The colonel described it as having dark green and brown top scales and a whitish-colored underside. Upon sighting it, he had the pilot turn around and make another pass, at which the serpent reared up at the front 10 feet of its body and head as if to strike, giving him the opportunity to observe its underbelly. However, after flying so low that Van Leer believed it to have been within striking distance of the helicopter, he ordered the pilot to resume his journey, and so the creature was never properly documented. Although some reports suggest that an onboard photographer managed to snap a shot of it. It is believed to be either a massively oversized African rock python, a new species of snake entirely, or perhaps a descendant of the giant Eocene snake Gigantopus. And if you want to play that video, Scat.
Well, first off, like how many when I was doing my cryptid research, there are a lot of cryptid snakes in fucking Africa. So I'm thinking like there are
it's a land
probably
of
a
goddamn
lot of
snake.
real snakes in Africa. They're fucking huge.
It's a land of goddamn snakes. Of course, there's a lot of legends of different ones.
Well, and there's a lot of shit that's unexplored, and you just have like actual tribes people are the only people that have seen it. So
Well,
I
yeah, I
don't
mean,
know. That's
that-
another one I believe in.
Right.
Mm.
Me too.
Okay, let me get the sound
They seem
going.
reasonable.
Yeah, it seems pretty freaking.
And-
Oh Jesus! Hold up.
This video that Scott's going to play eventually
If Scott can play it.
is an actual interview with
let me get
with the colonel in the helicopter. They actually interviewed him about it.
Yeah, no, and all throughout the world, man, there's been a lot of people in the military from around the world that have talked about these huge fucking snakes. I think.
I hate snakes, so a huge snake is just that much worse. It's like,
We have pictures of like snakes and alligators and crocodiles and shit from like the 1800s that don't exist anymore. So I think this is 100% possible.
Hmm.
I mean, it's got a believer or something.
To make several passes over the hole where the snake was in, able to let the man take a picture of it. And I made certainly between 4 and 6 passes right over the hole where the
Oh my
snake was
God.
in.
1959.
By then I was already flying for
like,
25 years, so I have a very good experience of measuring things.
when was that?
And I would say the snake I saw there was close to 50 foot, close to 50 feet. I don't know, you say 50 foot or 50 feet, but very close to certainly. And it was moving inside the hole and looking very dark green, deep green, brown, with his belly white. Now when I came down on that snake in his hole, and I would say at about 25, 30 foot up, the snake raised up by about, I would say, 10 foot. And I could very clearly, closely see the head, which was looking, and I could not make a better comparison as with a very large horse, with big, very, very big jaws, looking triangular. And you're just standing up like that to me, and I feel and I'm convinced if I had been in its range, it would have struck at me, it would have been striking me. And yet, I would say it was certainly
Looks like a snake.
at least on the very 2 foot wide and 3 foot long. It could have easily eaten up a man.
This is one of those rare cases where we have an expert witness and an excellent photograph. Analysis of the ground features suggests that this animal was indeed at least 40 feet long. So,
gross.
Okay, so I would hold on, let me close all these ads and shit out. Okay. I would think like his shutter speed, if he was actually in an airplane, like if somebody could have verified
Helicopter.
that film came from a helicopter, like his shutter speed would have to be so quick back in.
Well, it wasn't his.
1959?
There was another army photographer in the helicopter with him.
Yeah, but at 1959, the shutter speed would have to be
Well,
so quick.
No, remember he told the pilot to turn around to get another look at it, and they probably were hovering there, just stopped above it.
But you've got to talk about film cameras, dude. Like, I don't think you could fake it as easy as you could now.
Oh,
like, now
you
you
can't-
can fake it.
You can't fake it, but that picture's been around forever. Like I've seen that picture since I was a kid.
I would 100% believe that if I could verify that that film came off of that helicopter when it was snapped.
You don't trust the old colonel himself?
Well, it looks, yeah, he seemed like a credible witness to me. I don't know.
It looked, the photo
And the snake
looked
looks
good.
real. I mean,
Yeah.
And I mean, you could tell the photo's not the photo's not the greatest photo either because it's from back then. Like it's blurry as hell,
But yeah, no, the snake outline looks pretty friggin' good. Like you would have had to have tried to fake it back in 1959.
oh, it'd be impossible. You'd have to build something that big. They would have to build it in the fucking jungle and then like go up and take a picture of it.
Though. Impossible.
But why would they? What would be the point? There's already enough scary snakes
that's what I'm
out there.
saying. Like that seems very believable to me. That one
It does to
seems
me too.
very believable.
yeah.
I've always believed that one. Whenever I hear it, I always believe that. That's one I never doubted for a second.
Honestly, so far I believe all of them except the weird, lion walrus thing. But every other one actually seems really especially the snake. I mean, those snakes can get huge,
Well-
huge,
Yeah, they can, especially in Florida.
right? Like there has been giant snakes everywhere, so why couldn't there be like this monstrous one, you know?
Exactly. I mean,
Do they even, I don't think they die from age, right? They're like trees and fucking flowers and shit, right? They just
no,
keep
they-
growing.
I think they die eventually because I know pet ones die, but
But what we compare it to a turtle, because turtles live a long, long time, right? So, but snakes die before like they don't live like that, right?
the oldest living animal is a turtle that is 170 years old right now.
Yeah, but snakes don't
So-
live that long, I don't think.
No, I don't think they do. I think they can
I
live
think
if
they probably get fat, and then the other snakes are like, "Fuck you," or like you got a lion,
a
or
bird, a bird, dude, a freaking bird will pick them up. A freaking eagle
not
or
a
hawk.
40-foot snake,
Well, I mean, 40
but
foot
like
snake.
a
I'm pretty
pack of
sure.
lions, they'll fuck
Well,
that thing up. That's
may-
food for days.
Maybe this next creature I'm going to talk about is what ate it. So,
Okay,
let's
what
talk about
picture am I pulling up?
Kazai-rex.
Okay, get started. I will get that ready.
So, the Kazai-rex is a gigantic theropod cryptid from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. In 1932, the experienced Swedish hunter John Johnson, sometimes called Johansson, wanted to hunt a huge elephant, so he and his servant left their camp at Cape Town. They crossed the swamp until finally reaching the savannah in the Kasai Valley, which seemed desolate as there was no animals anywhere. That was until the servant yelled in excitement when she saw 2 elephants, so Johnson got his shotgun ready. But something was wrong with them. There were only 2 instead of an entire herd. About 44 meters away, there was something in the underbrush stalking the elephants. And suddenly, this something, a strange creature, jumped. The servant dropped to the undergrowth while Johnson, paralyzed, changed aim and decided to shoot the strange creature. He shot the creature 3 times, and only one shot hit it, hitting it in the back. The creature backed away and left. Johnson got his servant up from the ground and decided to go back to his camp at Cape Town, but first they had to cross the swamp. When they were halfway across the swamp, they heard a splash and thought of crocodiles. Johnson looked everywhere until they saw 22 meters away the same creature that they saw in the savannah, tearing the hump of a rhinoceros, and that with one bite tore one of the rhino's legs off.
Jeez.
Johnson's servant ran terrified while John stayed there. He immediately thought of shooting the creature, but he remembered terrified that the servant had taken his shotgun. But he still had his camera, so he took a photo of the creature. While upon hearing the click, staying quickly into the lake while the rhinoceros's body floated in a pool of blood. Upon returning to the camp, John walked shivering and shaking. The camera collapsed, and the men there picked him up. It was reddish in color with blackish colored stripes, he said in his interview with the newspaper Rhodesia Herald. It had a long snout and numerous teeth. He decided that the creature, 13 meters or 43 feet long, was a Tyrannosaurus, and also said the legs were thick. It reminded me of a lion built for speed. At the beginning of the year 1933, a group made up of 5 hunters, among them a recognized ivory trafficker, went to Kasai Valley to hunt the creature called Kazai-rex by the newspaper Rhodesia Herald, which they thought was a giant crocodile, and that they would hunt to sell the skin at a good price. They arrived in the Kasai Valley and passed through the same swamp where Johnson had passed the previous year. One of the hunters was frightened to see a reddish tail sink into the lake. They thought it was an anaconda until the atmosphere became tense. They readied their weapons, but were surprised by a wave of water that fell on them from the left side. The reddish tail had left the marsh violently and hit one of the hunters, who fell into the water. The other 4 began to shoot a reddish mass that submerged. They saw nothing, only waves of water that dispersed throughout the surface. The fallen man with a broken arm got up and tried to reach his companions. A roar was heard from under the water. They moved as fast as possible, but their path was hindered by a giant creature that came out on the right side, that was submerged on the left side. The hunters had hidden themselves in a rock, and in the end, they left the area. And then there's actually one more possible sighting. Robert Henderson was considered a great hunter and expert zoologist who had over 100 animal heads that he himself had hunted during safaris. Which I will say, I hate all these freaking people that hunt these animals. I really do. But Although everything, although everything is different now, it should be mentioned that hunting at that time was not considered a crime, but rather a hobby. In 1950, Henderson
dinner.
thought
Come
it's true,
on,
but
dude.
in 1950, Henderson thought about making a trip to Africa in the jungles of the Congo, ensuring he would find exotic, never discovered species. The trip was delayed for a year due to the death of his wife, and in August 51, he made his trip to the Kasai Valley. The town of Mutombo La Mata, where Henderson had settled, said that hunting was the only thing that could make him smile after the death of his wife. With the help of 5 natives, Robert passed by the Kasai River in a jeep because he knew that his prey was just beyond it. The safari was considered to be about 6 days, and they would camp so that Henderson had enough time to hunt. However, after the 6th day, the people didn't see them coming back, so they waited a few more days, because why wouldn't they? Screw the white man. Thinking they wouldn't come back because it had rained and the river gotten bigger. They still didn't come back, so a group of 10 people from the village and 5 people from the military regiment were sent to find them. The next day, they found traces of a camp, seeming to be the initial base of Robert and his group. The rescue group estimated that they were there for 2 days. It was thought that Henderson had gone to the depths of the Kasai Valley to hunt something else, since they already had found skin and gazelle viscera near the camp. The rescue group camped there, and the next morning they continued their search. The strange thing was that the valley seemed desolate. There was no signs of life anywhere. But after having walked several kilometers, they found Robert and his group, but not in the way they expected. A massacre had happened. They found a temporary camp, which was completely destroyed. About 10 meters away, there were several pieces of Robert's companions with limbs and heads everywhere, some being crushed and with torn flesh. The remains were mixed up, so much so that it was impossible to tell who each one belonged to. Of Robert, it was only a forearm with his hand included in bad condition, but nothing more than that was found. An investigation of the case was made, and the official version of the event gave 2 hypotheses. The first one was that what happened was caused by illegal hunters, presumably ivory traffickers, but the marks of the bodies did not match up with bullets or knives. The second hypothesis was that it was some animal who killed Robert and his group, and as even the remains appear to have been chewed up and subsequently spat out. But nevertheless, Robert's gun had been fired as shotgun shells were found at the scene, and still no animal corpses were found nearby. There was no way a hunter as experienced as Robert could have failed to shoot any animal that would attack them. In addition, it did not explain what happened to the crushed body parts, including a head. After several years, the case was closed without any definite conclusion. There was a mysterious detail that the case left out. The rescue team described it that seemed that something huge and heavy had advanced on them and the camp. The explanation for this is that the cryptid is long thought to be a theropod, in case it is real, as the name applies a heavily connection with Tyrannosaurus. However, no known Tyrannosaur, as well as any Tyrannosaurid species, ever lived in Africa. But a theropod similar, potentially larger in the size and overall shape, was reported to have lived in Africa. It was none other than the, oh God, I hate this word. My son used to speak, you read all the time. Carcharodontosaurus saharicus. It was one of the apex predators of the early Cretaceous Africa and was also known to compete for food and territory with Spinosaurus, somewhere I'm not saying, Baharosaurus ignis, and Deltadromeus.
What word are you not saying? Where did it?
Well, the one I have to say it again. I have to say it again, Scott, so screw you. But
Come
Spinosaurus
on.
aegyptiacus, I said it right actually, was another apex predator that grew 41 to 55 foot long, a carnivore from northern Africa, from Egypt to Morocco. It ate a wide variety of prey, such as aquatic animals from its habitat, like large crocodilomorphs, molluscan fish, Lepidotes, and Anchopristis, and terrestrial animals like iguanodontids, Oranosaurus, as well as subadult and juvenile sauropods. No full or complete skeleton has been discovered. There's a possibility that it was likely the largest theropod known. In addition, Spinosauridae, either Spinosaurus sigilomosasaurus or another species of large Spinosaurid, are also suspected to represent sightings of the Nguma Monet and the Niger fire spitter. So Deborah is then another one.
Isn't it Nigeria?
No, it's called the Niger fire spitter. It's a cryptid.
There you go. You said it.
Yeah.
Okay,
But-
when was this
but-
picture taken?
Well, I'm getting to that. There are 3 alleged photographs of the Kazai Rex. The original picture taken by Robert Henderson shows what looks like a monitor lizard with stripes roaring. The second picture shows a tyrannosaur-like creature eating a rhinoceros, and the third one shows a monitor-like lizard-like creature on top of a rhinoceros. All 3 are proven as hoaxes. The original image and the one that could reveal the identity of the Kazai Rex shows what is actually a monitor lizard. This could confirm the existence of the Kazai Rex, as it could be an unknown species of giant monitor lizard. In addition to the fact that sometimes these reptiles can stand on 2 legs, and a 1930s reconstruction of a Tyrannosaurus and a giant 2-legged reptile will look very similar. They're also good swimmers, so it would make sense to see them in a swamp. The second picture's Tyrannosaur-like creature has been confirmed to be a picture of a statue put on top of a rhino. And the monitor lizard-like creature from the third picture is actually an illustration of a common monitor lizard that had been cut out from a Nature magazine and placed on top of a rock, which is said to be a rhinoceros.
This picture looks like some shit that was like taken with the first digital camera.
You know what
back in
this
the
looks like?
Look at the pixelation. This looks like a Nintendo video.
You know what this
dude.
looks like to me?
What?
Little salamanders that they were so cute. They're just so sweet. We used to have them, we'd catch them
Yeah.
whenever when we were kids. That's what it looks like, is a cute little salamander.
Or even a monitor lizard, but like the
Yeah.
pixelation is fucking crazy, dude. This is like Nintendo shit.
But if it was like, a great big gigantic huge one, that'd be scary.
Yeah, but I do think that's a great big, like, look at the leaf structure behind it. I'm thinking little leaf, like a small leafed tree behind it, and
Well,
just like a super close up of a monitor lizard, but
I mean,
highly pixelated.
I mean, in a world where Macaulay and Mbembe can still be living, why couldn't a Tyrannosaurus Rex?
True.
That does not look like we have fossils of a T-Rex. That looked like it was on all fours, like its front legs were posted down.
Plus, he looks smooth and cute, like a salamander.
Mhm. Like
He
something
looks
you'd buy
sweet.
at the pet store.
Right? He looks sweet to me.
That picture is not selling me.
And it
Yeah.
doesn't really have teeth. Like, it's just like, I think that's why he looks like a salamander too. He's got a round head with no teeth. So how is he killing everything?
Who knows? I mean, I don't know, but well,
I
This
like that
next
there's
one-
an unsolved mystery though, like a bunch of dead bodies, and I don't like that.
You
but-
could be right. Or it could
Well-
have been a fucking tiger just ripping through everyone.
Possible, but I actually there's not tigers in the jungle in Congo. I don't think.
Well, there's like panthers and jaguars and shit.
Hmm. Well, this next one is a plant cryptid.
This is the
Eh.
one I wanted to do. This is
Ah.
the one I was super interested in. Okay, let me get this up.
Well, the man-eating tree of Nubia was a carnivorous tree reported by one eyewitness who related a story in 1881. Author Phil Robinson, writing in Under the Punkah, related the tales of his uncle's travels throughout the world. He described a man-eating tree that was to be found in Nubia. In the tale, Robinson's uncle describes the tree. This awful plant that rears its splendid death shade in the central solitude of a Nubian fern forest sickens by its unwholesome humors all vegetation from its immediate vicinity, and feeds upon the wild beasts that, in the terror of the chase or the heat of noon, seek the thick shelter of its boughs. Upon the birds that, flitting across the open space, come within the charmed circle of its power and instantly refresh themselves from the cups of its great waxen flowers. Apparently, we're rhyming now. Upon even man himself, when an infrequent prey, the savage seeks its asylum in the storm, returns from the harsh, foot-wounding sword grass of the glade, to pluck the wondrous fruit that hang plump down among the wondrous foliage. And such fruit, glorious golden ovals, great honey drops, swelling by their own weight into pear-shaped translucencies. The foliage glistens with a strange dew that all day long drips onto the ground below, nurturing a rank growth of grasses which shoot in places so high that their spikes of fierce blood red green show far up among the deep tinted foliage, Jesus Christ, of the terrible tree. and like a jealous bodyguard, keep concealed the fearful secret of the charnel house within, and draw around the black roots of the murderous plant a decent screen of living green. What the hell, dude? Are you trying to write a poem? The story continues describing how the tree captured and ate one of the uncle's native companions, and how the uncle proceeded to shoot the tree. When his ammunition was finally exhausted, the uncle continued his work using a knife to destroy the tree. As the tree fought back with its blood-sucking leaves and tangling limbs, it is unclear if the story is fiction or not.
So when I looked into that, it was more of a poisonous gas that was killing people. So like the tree would sort of puff out a gas, and they found a bunch of dead bodies around the tree. And I tried to fucking look for it, dude. Like I wanted this to happen. This is like the human version of the Venus flytrap.
Right?
Dope as fuck.
All I could think about with that was Flintstones. Remember they had the neighbors that had the
Yeah, like big, like I think that's possible, right? Everybody's watching The Last of Us, so these spores might come out and kill us. I thought that one was dope.
Yeah, I like that one. I mean, I actually heard a whole episode of a podcast on plant cryptids, and some of there's like, they mentioned like 4 or 5 different ones, and they're pretty damn amazing. But
and there's lots of small poisonous plants, like you just barely brush up against them and it absorbs through your skin, right? Like there's deadly plants. So why not a great big tree, right?
Yeah, no, and I think there's actually plants that do produce gas, not enough to kill a human, but like to kill like insects and shit. So
yeah. Well, the last one I have is another of my favorite genre of cryptids, the Basilosaurus. Known by its scientific synonym, Zeuglodon, is a genus of ancient cetaceans that lived during the late Eocene period. They are thought to have died out 33 million years ago. And this is during time that the Eocene epoch ended and the Oligocene started. I swear to God, these people make up names just to fucking piss us off. These primitive marine mammals look nothing like today's cetaceans. They were long and serpentine. Basilosaurus is often suggested as an explanation for sea serpent and lake monster reports. It was one of the largest animals of its time at 66 feet, with some non-peer-reviewed sizes putting it at 70 feet. There are 2 species, other species from across the world that have been assigned, but they turn out to be other Eocene cetaceans. The type species from North America, Basilosaurus setoide, is commonly found on the Gulf Coast of the southern U.S. with a possible expectation, and Basilosaurus issus, which is found throughout northern Africa, but the most complete skeletons of the species come from Egypt. Basilosaurus issus and the role it played within its environment is well understood. The fossils came from the Wadi El Hitan Formation, which is now considered a World Heritage Site and is one of the most prized fossil locations in Egypt. It shows that B. issus was a predator attacking a smaller whale called Durodon and many fish and possibly sharks. Basilosaurus more likely just fed on large sharks and fish. It should be noted that most prehistoric cetaceans are all found in the same areas. Genetic tests show that the whales are closely related to hippos. Blah, 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 blah. No one cares about evolution. But Basilosaurus has a name which describes it as a king lizard. This was due to the fact that the scientists who named him back in the 1830s noted that it looked quite a lot like the massive prehistoric reptiles such as mosasaurids, plesiosaurs, and dinosaurs. The name Zeuglodon was recommended later after a geological conference, a paper made by anatomist, paleontologist, and biologist Richard Owen. But due to the fact that the original scientific describer is the only one who could rename a species, the name Basilosaurus was stuck. It's a rule in taxonomy, basically. But
it's like the mosasaur in fucking the Jurassic World movies.
Yeah, but kind of. I mean, if the primitive whales are still alive, they would certainly fit with a few select characteristics of Basilosaurus, such as long body. However, many sightings are based on outdated, overly serpentine designs from the 50s. Any lake monsters and sea serpents present a elongated serpentine shape similar to Basilosaurus. In addition, many sea serpents and lake monsters have been reported from northern waters that are thought to be too cold for reptiles, such as plesiosaurs or giant snakes. But these same waters would be fine for an aquatic mammal. While this could be the case, Basilosaurus has no evidence it contained much blubber, and in its time it did not need as much blubber as modern whales. Although evolving, it could be the case, but it's not the most likely option based on the serpentine accounts. And also, sea serpents and lake monsters are also frequently described as having bits of hair, especially a mane. Hair is mainly a mammalian feature and is not present in any reptiles. The swimming style of Basilosaurus has been studied more in recent years. It had a vertical spine that would have been quite flexible in life. While some cryptozoologists note that features of a hairy sea monster may be evidence for a basilosaurid whale, Basilosaurus is said to have lost most of its hair. It's likely only had very scanty bits of hair. Whales, as they got closer to modern times, can lose much of their hair. Hair in some sea monsters or globsters is attributed to decomposing whale tissue. Decomposing whales have been blamed for many sea monster sightings. The spine flexibility comes from the aforementioned outdated perceptions of the Basilosaurus. In recent years, the animal has become the primary focus of several cryptozoology researchers who theorize that the animal may be responsible for reports of sea monsters. But yeah, and they just go on to repeat and repeat and repeat. But I don't know. It's a sea monster, so I truly believe they can still exist because we haven't touched the ocean at all yet.
Yeah, but does that go to America? Was that really an African cryptid? I think
Yeah,
you kind of cheated
no,
there, my friend.
No, because the
It was
one
spotted in Africa once.
the Basilosaurus issus as a spot in North Africa, especially, and they found lots of remains of it around Egypt.
Okay.
It was
Well,
the
and
other
you
one.
think if things like that would migrate like big whales do, right? Like they do.
Like
Well,
whales
if
and
it was
sharks
found
do,
in
yeah.
Egypt, that would have been like a cryptid from after the Bering Sea Strait shit all happened, right? Because Egypt's in the middle of the fucking desert.
I don't know. It's a sea monster. I believe sea monsters exist. So
Fuck yeah, Megalodon does.
Again, Scott, get out your damn fishing stuff and get out there.
I wish somebody'd give me a show like fucking Jeremy Wade.
We will. We'll give you got your camera on your
Yeah.
phone and you have your microphone there.
Oh, okay, good. And you guys will pay for my plane tickets. Sounds like a plan.
Hear that, listeners? We have a GoFundMe. Scott's Adventures in Fishing. We need some cash.
Okay.
No, I believe that. I believe in stuff in the ocean. I mean, who knows? Big sea monsters, of course.
Fuck yeah. Like, did you guys see that Megalodon movie? I think Meg, where it's
I
like
love that movie.
under the little like
Yeah.
silt dust area. I think that shit could happen.
the second movie's coming out this year.
Damn, that movie came out a long time ago, didn't it?
It came out in like 2018.
Well, we'll have to
Yeah.
watch that one.
Jason Statham is apparently not starring in this one, but he does have a role in it.
Jason Statham.
The
don't
naked guy in
know.
the first one that the Asian scientist fell in love with.
The Asian
Dude, you never,
scientist guy.
you never, the
I
Asian
didn't realize
scientist,
there was a. Oh, okay.
Asian.
Uh,
But you never saw the Transporter movies?
Yeah, I saw the first two. Then it got kind of repetitive.
That's Jason Statham.
I thought that was Shiloh LaBeouf.
Transporter, not Transformers.
Oh, Transporter. Which one's No, I don't think I saw the Transporter movies.
I have
Oh, dude. What? Okay, Deborah, you will love them. You will love them. I know you will. Oh, for Jason Statham alone, Deborah will love them. But Scott, you should watch them too. They're good action. They're good action movies.
Huh, okay.
I
List
like
to
my
do.
horror movies. I don't know.
It's real life horror.
Okay. Well, I am going to set you up because
I hope so.
share sound. I'm trying to do like 3 things at once here. We are going.
Sexy boys, fancy boys,
This is a little taste of South Africa.
bad boys. I think you're freaky and I like you
Okay. So now that we did that, we got the mountainous desert regions of Richterveld. So this is where the Grootslang, a massive creature with the appearance of a mix between a gigantic snake and the body of an elephant. Let me pull that up. Trying to do multiple things here. Okay, share Grootsveld. Or Grootslang. So these cryptids are estimated to be huge, weighing around 3 tons and 40 feet long from fucking head to tail. They live in deep caves, away from civilization, deep in the desert lands. Although there have still been recent claims of people spotting the cryptid, history dates this shit way back to like ancient mythology.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like an elephant from the upside down.
Yeah, I know. So it's half elephant, half whatever the snake you talked
Demigorgon.
about was.
It's half Demigorgon, half elephant.
I couldn't find like a realistic portrayal, and obviously there's no pic. This is the most unbelievable cryptid I have.
So that's not a real photo?
No, that's 100% real. God dang it,
Oh.
Deborah. Jiminy crickets. Can't you tell? So it said that at the creation of the world, the gods realized that they had made the Grootslang too badass of a creature and it was going to take over humanity. So they decided to split the creature in two, thus creating Jeremy's big ass snake creature and elephants at the same time.
I don't believe it. I mean, that could be what they mentioned in the Bible as a Leviathan.
Yeah, no, it could for sure, right? Look at that ugly son of a bitch.
I want to see
Although-
Sam and Dean face that.
That might have made the last couple of seasons a little better. Just
Oh, you
saying.
shut your mouth. You shut your mouth. The last couple seasons were
Just saying.
amazing.
After they fucking fought God, dude, and fucking God's sister, and then they went back to Satan, I have not seen another episode since then.
Oh, you have to see how it ended.
No, I don't. It's fucking bullshit. Did you watch it, Deborah?
No. I don't watch very much TV or movies, actually. I realized talking to you guys.
No, we watched that shit like religiously, and then
Damn Canadians not believing in our religion.
do you not remember the beginning of the episodes where like a demon was like you had to make a blood sacrifice and kill your firstborn, and then like they're just fist fighting demons, and then they're fist fighting angels, and then they're fist fighting God.
Yeah,
and then
because
we go back to Satan.
well,
Fuck
Satan always comes back. That's the point of him in the Bible.
Yeah, but they already fucking kicked his ass. Okay, back to the stupid elephant creature. So they, split it into the thing. Although the legend also states a couple of these creatures managed to escape to the Wonder Hole. That seems a little weird. It's a deep, dark cave filled with diamonds and gems. The Grootslang is supposed to love these beautiful glimmering stones. And if you ever meet one when you're in Africa, all you gotta do is give him a handful of fucking diamonds and he's gonna let you go. So that was my Grootslang. Next up, sorry, I can't read a lot of other languages. Didn't get any there we go. This one seems realistic.
Ugh. Ew.
So now
That's what lives in Deborah's backyard.
wow, that thing, it's too cold in Deborah's backyard.
That is the one good thing about winter, yeah.
That probably is the one good thing about not living in a warm climate. So we're traveling up to the Congo. This is the Jaba Fofi. So this creature's name translate exactly into what it means. It's giant spider in Congolese, I'm guessing. So the this spider is supposed to have the abdomen oh shit. Abdomen size of 4 foot long with the thickness of a basketball, and its leg span reaches 6 foot. This is a fucking huge spider. And it kind of looks like a tarantula. It's got brown and black hairs that covers its body, but it's also said to produce venom powerful enough to even kill like the largest animals in the area. I'm not sure if elephants live in that area, but this thing will fuck a human up.
Well, I mean, it looks like the freaking spider from Harry Potter, so I could believe it.
Yeah, like I don't know what kind of deer are in the Congo, but there have been many stories of this, and I do actually have, I guess, one story of people who've came in contact with this. So this spider's supposed to dig tunnels alongside game paths or walking trails. And then it runs just like one super sticky string through the game trail. And then it'll wait until something crosses it, and it'll jump out and inject its venom into its prey. And they mainly chase like large birds, monkeys, but they will go after antelope and human too. So if you stumble across the game trail, you're getting fucked up. But people of the Congo still to this day complain about these fucking spiders setting up right outside of their farms and fucking up their cattle and taking children. And like there are a lot of stories about this spider specifically. So there are accounts of Westerners too. I got the first one, it came from the 1890s, back when a couple of missionaries were going to Lake Nasa. It was Arthur Sim and 2 of his porters who got stuck in a web, and they were trying to cut themselves out with knives when they had 2 of these spiders. One was smaller, one was about the bigger size, I said, 6 foot leg span, and they both jumped out, and they hit both of this dude's porters. I'm guessing that means his African, people who took him through the desert.
Porter
But,
means people who carry. Porter means people who go with you on your trip and carry your bags, basically.
Yeah, so those 2 fucked his porters up, and they eventually just like swelled up. Well, not eventually, they immediately swelled up and got feverish, and they died. So at the same time, this might have just been this guy getting his rocks off and killing 2 porters in the middle of the fucking Congo. But yeah, no, that's an actual historical account. So they died shortly after, while they were still on the trail.
Yep.
They need some
Okay.
game trail cameras over there. That's what catch some of this stuff.
That shit's cheap too. Like we could do that. I don't know why we're giving billions of dollars to all the shit we give billions of dollars to when we could find this shit out, right? I'm sure
Yeah.
there's some crazy shit in Africa. Okay, so now we're moving northeast of the Congo, and this creature is as plausible as a Bigfoot. So let me share the screen real quick. This is the Inete tiger.
Mm.
So, like Bigfoot, there have been creatures that have existed like while man has walked the earth, just like Bigfoot. Like there have been creatures and humans on the same fucking territory while this happened. But if you want to take a trip to the mountains of Ghana or Togo, the Enedi tiger supposedly lives there. It resembles a fucking saber-toothed tiger, and this thing's as large as a horse. It has reddish brown hair and whitish stripes on the top with two huge saber teeth, but it doesn't have the fucking full mane like a lion. It's kind of got like a puff behind the ears and then kind of a little mane behind the back. And then it's supposedly supposed to try to go after small game because I guess it can't open its mouth wide enough to like actually hunt big game. It's supposed to mainly go after like rabbits or whatever the fuck other small game they got in Africa. But then some of the reports have this thing with a hyena tail, while other reports have it with no tail. And if it had no tail, it would be closer to a saber-toothed tiger, because the fossil records we have of a saber-toothed tiger, they had like a little 4 to 6 inch back tail. So I saw other reports where like, you know, one lived in the water, one lived in the land, but there's actual, I mean, well, let me get into this. There are people who think there's supernatural powers where this creature can disappear or transform into a human, or it's followed by blue butterflies or whatever. But
Followed by butterflies?
blue butterflies. I watched a lot of bullshit.
That's interesting. Huh.
I think a saber-toothed cat could actually live. I don't think he's a disappearing human that's followed by blue butterflies. But the actual theory is that these cats evolved to get away from the plains where the fucking lions were hunting. So because they're not like a big ass pack animal like a fucking lion is. So they went up into the mountains and sort of became nocturnal. And then that's where they hunt, is just, you know, more like a jaguar or a leopard or something. They're singular hunters, which I 100% believe could happen. Because
Yeah, again, I agree.
lions are pack animals, and I don't know if they're like semi-aquatic or, you know, two different things evolved into one's a land hunter and one's a water hunter. But I do believe that thing could have existed, because there are lots of firsthand accounts of people seeing that thing.
Well, if dogmen exist, then why can't big ass cats?
I believe that thing exists way more than I believe in Dogman.
We looked at a map of all the dogmen near Deborah's house.
How many dogmen have you seen, Deborah?
Lots.
You know all those dating sites up there, Scott, up in Canada. They're all dogman sites.
Shit.
Well, I do agree though. I think these are the most believable things we've ever covered, actually.
Probably, yeah. For the most part. Like my first elephant snake fucking Goliath thing. I don't believe in that for a second.
Dude, that thing looks biblical.
Yeah. It's not believable at all. I totally agree. So which one do you think is the... I think, honestly, I think Jeremy brought the most evidence with that picture.
That snake is.
Or I guess that was a video.
Yeah, I 100% think that snake is a thing. It's a very gross, horrific thing to think about, but I think it's real.
So when you going on vacation in Africa, Deborah?
Yeah, yeah, between the spiders and the snakes, and I don't know.
You
It's
you
not
give
my-
me a loan, buddy. I'll be there in a second.
Yeah. Well, what are we doing next week, Scott?
I
That's
think
a question.
first, you know what? I think first we should do a spelling bee. All these new names and words that we've learned. Let's see
I've
if we
had
can
he-
actually spell the things.
The fact I pronounced half the names I did as well as I did while having head trauma tonight, I think I'm good and I passed this test.
I don't even have that excuse. The head trauma. I have no excuse at all. That was embarrassing.
Yeah, some of them get pretty crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, what's on deck?
I was thinking we do like we each pick our own fucking whatever we want to do.
Oh, taking the lazy way out, huh?
No, not the lazy. Okay, here we'll do it this way. One person does aliens, one person does cryptids, and one person does a paranormal or ghost fucking shit. We can roll dice for it, or
What about this? What if we all pick our own scary thing and we argue why it would beat the rest, why it's scarier than the other two people's scary thing, and we'll let our
Oh.
viewers, your wives, choose which one actually wins.
Yeah, my wife won't stick around for that, but what
We'll
you want
dredge
to
up we'll dredge up a judge somehow, and we'll have them pick which. We'll put them in a ring together to fight, and whose monster wins.
well,
Yeah, I mean,
like even if we pick the scary, we haven't done that, right? Like the scariest thing each of us think of. Like even if we don't have a judge.
What terrifies you? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm down with it.
I don't know.
Or we can just do like one cryptid, one alien, one or what else is there paranormal? Like I didn't want to do another conspiracy thing. I've been doing conspiracy things every week.
Oh, well, you could, I mean, I'm trying to think, like, what haven't we covered yet? Well, actually, if you want to go that way, we could do we haven't done an episode yet on lucid dreaming, have we?
Yeah, kinda.
Oh, yeah,
With
true.
sleep paralysis style shit,
Uh.
I'm pretty sure we. Well, I just think we each bring one thing that the thing that we most not care about, but like fucking are most interested in the paranormal.
Well, I mean, haven't we been doing that for the last year almost?
I don't know. I haven't. I don't.
I
I
mean,
don't know. Like whatever story floats your boat, dude.
I guess that could work.
I know you're gonna be cryptids.
Oh, no, I mean, you don't know
I'm
nothing
getting
yet.
some fucking demon possession stories already.
And are these first like our own, just why we're scared of them, or are we looking for people that have
Well, no,
encounters
just
or
like
anything?
the paranormal stories that interest you the most for this week's episode. So like whatever you're into, I'm doing demon possessions.
Okay.
Does that
Yeah, which is random topics. That works. I mean, everybody brings their own stuff.
I mean we're
Okay.
kind of running out. Like
We are not
already
at
did
all. We are not.
frogmen. We already
we are
did frogmen.
I was gonna do them again today, though, in African cryptids,
It
but
is hard to do an hour on frogmen. Let me tell
Well-
you, there are three of us.
well, we'll do that, Scott. We'll do each person picks their own stuff for next week, and till next week, then, listeners and watchers. Well, watch her since they're still not on Spotify, but yeah.
Little hate
All
there.
right.
Little
Peace
hate
out.
there.
Have a good week.
Okay. Let me stop it.